Hello and welcome back to my channel. First things first, this kind of is about a few days after the release of my last Shakhtar video, which obviously I had the voice box being used. The reason that was used, I think I probably explained it, is I have really bad sore throat, cough, cold for about a week, still going on, still got it, and I sort of lost my voice, this sort of that, so I couldn't record that, and I really wanted that video to come out. I wanted to start this last week as well, but obviously I couldn't record that, and I didn't want to record that in the same vein. I wanted this to be back fresh, so if my voice does drop out, or as you can hear I'm struggling a little bit, then you know why. Yeah, still a bit bunged up, still a bit groggy, this, that and the other, but getting through it and working through. So this is a sort of semi-new channel series on my channel slash evolution spin-off. So it's Championship Manager Years. So these videos will be going into that same playlist of what I did last time with Championship Manager Years. Now the difference is that episode was like an hour and a half. It was based on the Sky Sports programme Premier League Years, which looked at the Premier League in a given season, given year, and all the news around it, what happened during the season month by month. Yeah, so world news, UK news, Premier League news, Cup news, that sort of stuff. And I just tried to do it in the same vein, but looking back retrospectively with a Championship Manager twist. Now, that probably didn't get quite the sort of views and attention that I was hoping, partly because my channel's still really small, so maybe as the years go on, people will discover it and it will get a bit better, who knows. But also, the production of it probably wasn't up to what I was hoping it would come out as. Very long, and the time to create it was just absolutely ridiculous. Now this is the second time I'm recording this because my mic wasn't connected first time, and it recorded just with the laptop audio, and it was absolutely horrendous. Coupled with my voice sort of fading in and out, it wasn't great. So I've started again, so hopefully I do cover everything that I talked about in that first one. So yeah, that's where this series is going. So there isn't really an end goal. As I recall, these games have a 30-year cycle on them, so you can only go 30 years, the game ends. You essentially complete it, mate.
Championship Manager, complete it, mate.
You can't complete it.
So yeah, so I don't know if that's going to be the aim, just to play through this all 30 seasons, or just maybe evolve a challenge halfway through it and then end it and then move on to the next game, do the same thing. I'll leave that kind of up to you as we go on, so if you've got any comments, suggestions, let me know in the comments. You know, how you want this to go on. Do you want me to go for the full 30 seasons? Maybe set myself a challenge within that until we complete that. Maybe we can't do it, and then we move on to the next game, or whatever. Let me know. While you're there, do drop a sub on the channel. Really hoping to grow this year. All that stuff, comments, likes, subs, all helps the channel grow. Lets me know you're enjoying what I'm doing. Yeah, so we'll crack on to it. So this time I am not going to do a poll for the team I'm going to pick, because literally it's Saturday night. It's now 12:30 at night where I've had to record a second time. It got to about 25 minutes, so I'm hoping I can whack this one through a bit quicker. So yeah, I've just picked a team this time. I've gone with Wolves. I didn't want to go to the Premier League. I wanted to go a little bit lower, make it a bit of a challenge, get to Premier League first of all, stabilise and then push on. I didn't want to start right in Division 3 because we could be grinding for absolute years before I even get out of Division 3. I've done it a few times. It took me, I think I've done it with Wigan, it took me an age. So this game was the first game that I ever played. I didn't own it at the time. I do own it now. I've got a copy somewhere. I'm playing this with DOSBox, so let me know if you want to know how to play it. I can't remember where I got the file, so I'd have to look up that first of all, but let me know. I can show you how to play it. I mean, I might even be able to host the file somewhere, I'm not too sure. Let me know. I can do a video on how to use it. I mean, normally with DOSBox I just drop an exe file into DOSBox and it works. This one has a little bit more, it's a bit more intricate. Now you can use this intricate way to do most games. It's not normally how I bother doing it. It takes longer, it's quicker just to drag and drop, but this one, yeah, you can't do it, unfortunately. I'm also going to drop some tips and tricks in for this game as well. Cheats, if you like, I guess. Now, the first one we're going to do is actually something we're going to go with, because I'm also going to manage England, because it's 95-96, CM2 95-96, and it's Euro 96, England the host. So there's not going to be many friendlies. We literally get to the end of the season, it will be the tournament. Now, the first trick with this is, obviously, if I just try and just add myself in, I mean, I could just type anything here, it doesn't really matter too much. It's not going to work. You have to gain good reputation, club level, and then get offered the job. So when you're playing the game, you have to get really good, apply for the job when it comes available, or be offered it, and that's how it works. But now I was trying to do this with Ireland, but we're going to stick with England, just easier, less games as well. Ireland have to qualify. So England manager back in those days was Sir Terry, or Mr. Terry Venables. So if you type in Terry Venables, it will work. We are England manager. So we'll go through that journey as well. We'll look at some of the players that were big English players back in those days. and we'll sort of guide those through, see who makes the squad. Maybe how it compares to the England squad back in those days. I don't remember who was the big player back then for England. I don't really remember. Wright, he was up front in that tournament, I remember. Ian Wright. I think McManaman was around, Darren Anderton. A bit before the rise of Michael Owen, he was World Cup 98. But yeah, Euro 96, World Cup 94, 98. They were my tournaments. They were when I was out playing football in the park with my friends, you know, playing for the teams. Did something, just playing loads of football whenever I could. It was just football, all I did. And 94, obviously, all my family, loads of my family are Irish, so that tournament with Ireland being there and being the only UK team there was phenomenal. In fact, we'll do this because there's a bit of a loading screen here, so we'll talk during that. It's not that long. So yeah, that tournament was fantastic for me, going out playing it. Euro 96 as well, being the home tournament. I was 14. I was at the age, I was just playing in the park all the time. Come home from school, go to the park, play football. Weekend, go to the park, play football. School, play football. It was, and during that tournament it was just great. Same with 94, same with 98. 98 I was 16, so maybe fading out a little bit at that point. Started drinking, going out, that sort of stuff started happening. Sort of changed the way a little bit. So England, yeah, so we have some friendlies. Obviously there's no qualifiers, so we're going to have friendlies against Germany, Portugal, Croatia, Mexico, Spain, Italy and Bulgaria. And that's very different from the last time I tried to load this game and didn't do the commentary very well, because it was Ghana in there, Ivory Coast are in there. There's a few easier teams. We've now got Germany, Portugal. They're all tough games. I mean, Bulgaria were a force back in the night, like maybe not so much around 96, but definitely around like 94. Stoichkov and Balakov and Lechkov, they were, yeah, just an incredible team. So that's that done. We don't need to look at Northern Ireland. Now, who is the Northern? If you want to play as Northern Ireland, I don't remember who the manager was. I mean, we can have a look. I can show you. Republic of Ireland was Jackie Charlton. They've got Ghana this time, Barbados. So they've got a few easy friendlies. Scotland were a big team back in those days. Obviously, didn't qualify for 94, I don't think, no. But got to 96, got to 98. Haven't been to a tournament since, but they're there. Yes, that's Craig Brown. Wales, that they weren't obviously been to a tournament until recently. Who was their manager back then? Bobby Gould, I seem to recall. We'll double check though, just in case you want to do it. But I mean, if not, Anglo-Italian Cup. This isn't something I remember too well. Obviously I do now. I've just gone through the game and commed it. It was I think it's a collection of Championship, or then days Division 1 teams and Serie B teams, I think, in Italy. And you played this tournament. Now I now know it was 4 English teams in one group, 4 English teams in another group, and then 4 Serie B teams and 4 Serie B teams. 16 teams in total, 2 go through, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. So we're in a group with Huddersfield, Portsmouth, Tranmere and ourselves, and we've got a friendly against Germany in about a month's time for England, so that's fantastic. So we'll just familiarise ourselves with the interface, the screens, a lot more basic than what we see now with Football Manager, very much so. So Wolves, we'll have a look at the sort of squad we got, who sticks out immediately. So we got Mike Stowell. Now, I went through a lot of teams and our team just going, I remember this guy. I was reading the names out. Obviously, it's initial and surname. I was going, I know this guy. Now, if I do it, you're going to think, you just play through it, you just go and click them and you remember them. Now, my memory is not that good, believe me. I just do generally remember them. And, yeah, I mean, Mike Stowell, goalkeeper at Wolves for years, I think. Yeah. I mean, I remember him from other games as well, Player Manager on PS1. You can only start in Division 1 that game, so I learnt a lot of Championship players through that as well as this game. Mark Venus, I think, eventually went to Ipswich, I think got promoted with them. Dean Richards, of course, went to Tottenham. Unfortunately, he was taken from us far too soon. I think it was, I can't remember I think he got cancer, I don't remember what cancer it was, but I think he was still playing, and yeah, it was horrific, but a legend of the game and a legend of football as well. We've got Yonder Wolf. I remember him playing, I think, in World Cup 94 for Holland. Or I remember him in the sticker album, certainly. I don't know if he got in the final squad, but he was in the sticker album. And I just remember him rocking up on this game in Wolves. I was like, okay, random. But with that name, he's at the right team, I guess, isn't he? Eric Young played for Palace. I seem to recall, I think he's at the end of his career here. Something I am noticing is we haven't got a lot of players with a great amount of pace. Well, that's something I noticed last time. I haven't gone into it too much this time. We've got Mark Atkins, 8 pace again. Jeff Thomas, 10 pace. I mean, he's kind of on the way out. We've got Neil Emblin. I think he played for Palace. I think after this, I think he played for Millwall. Yep. Vaguely remember Millwall bit. Don't know Birch. Andy Thompson. The name rings a bell, but I don't really remember him. But I think he might have played for Palace as well. Darren Ferguson, so Alex Ferguson's son, of course. 11 pace again, not a great deal. 5 passing for centre midfielder. 8 tackling. Now, he had 19 tackling on the last time I loaded this game up. What's going on? Because I actually referenced him being a hard tackling midfielder, so it looks like I've got bad end of the straw here with the players. They've not got as good stats as they had last time. I think there are some random stats as well. We've got Simon Osborne, attacking midfielder. Again, good at tackling for a attacking midfielder. No pace. Slightly better pass. And obviously the attributes are in alphabetical order rather than categorised. Now this is a good one. Don Goodman. He was out for 15 months, so we've got him this time. So we've got a slightly better one there, but his stats aren't as good. So swings and roundabouts. He had phenomenal positioning, determination, shooting. He's got some good ones there. He's got good determination still, but good to have him, I guess, than not have him. Mark Rankin, I vaguely remember. My nose is running now. I'm going to have to stop in a minute, I'm sure. We've got Steve Karika. Oh, I've clicked on the wrong guy. Steve Karika. I remember. Oh, he had fantastic pace on the last one. We've been utterly shafted. Steve Froggatt. I remember being a young winger. I think in the Premier League. No, he can't be in the Premier League. Yeah, I think he played for Villa. Did he play for Villa? Yeah, Villa. He was like one of the. I think it was the first Premier League album I had, sticker album. He was like one to watch alongside Ian Selly for Arsenal. There was Shipley at Chelsea. Froggatt, I'm seen to recall. I can't remember who the other two were. We've got Tony Daly, of course. Good pace. He's got better dribbling this time. Shooting, not great. But we got a good bit of pace and finally to work with in the team. And then we've got legendary striker Steve Ball. Good pace still, good shooting. Pretty much on par as what he was before. Good determination. So he'll be vital for us as we go through. So now, with this, you can look at all physical condition, morale, form, all that sort of stuff. Don't really remember using it all that much. Wage, value. I don't think you can check a contract on here. No, I think that maybe comes in one of the later games. I think you can. General info. So there's not much to look at on these tabs. They're all going to be empty at the moment because we haven't done anything. We've got a 20,500 seat stadium. And we've got, 5 million in the bank. Not too shabby. I don't know how it compares to the rest of the league. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Obviously no transfer ins or out yet. We haven't done anything. We'll go through that later. Haven't done tactics yet. Opposition squad, we've got Reading next game. We'll have a look at the league in a minute, see who we're facing this season, who is in the division. Previous meeting, no, previous match, fixtures results, that's just our schedule. Cosenza. Hang on, I thought we had all English teams in our group. We'll have a look at that in a minute. We've got fixtures, we looked at that. NZ Division 1, so we'll have a look at the league tables, who we got here. So we've got Barnsley, obviously played in Premier League a couple of years later. Birmingham did as well. Charlton Palace up and down. They've been in the Premier League, I think just got relegated. Derby, Grimsby, nowhere near this level anymore. I'm not going to go through and look at the squads. We'll do that as we play them or go through maybe. If there's anyone you want me to have a look at specifically, let me know. We can go through and do a quick little analysis in one episode or something. If your team's here and you want to have a quick look at what they were like in 1995, let me know. Ipswich, Leicester, Luton. Luton obviously been down in the conference in recent years and working their way back up. Millwall, Norwich, Oldham slipped down after getting relegated from the Premier League. Port Vale have never been this high for a long time. Portsmouth obviously got up to the Premier League finally. They were a Division 1 team for a very long time and then have slid down, but they're having a good season this year and look to be on their way back on the rise. I think they're top of League 1 or League 2, not sure which one. Reading obviously since been up in Premier League. Sheffield United, Southend, shout out to Ted Redwood Gaming. I know you've got a bit of a soft spot for Southend. I'll have a quick look at those for you, see if anyone sticks out. Now Keith Dublin, I seem to remember. Mike Marsh, the ex-Liverpool centre back. It's a midfielder on here actually. I thought he was a centre back. Just showing I don't quite know it all. Jerome Burr played for West Ham. Andy Rammell. Is that Graham Jones? Gary Jones, yeah. See, don't know them all. I know a lot of them, but I don't know them all. Daniel Foot. No, okay, not who I was thinking it was. In fact, I don't know who Daniel Foot was. Simon Royce, I think he played for Swindon. Did he go on to play for Swindon? He played for someone. Sheffield United, maybe? Not too sure. We've got Stoke, Sunderland, Tranmere, West Brom, Watford, and ourselves. Now, money-wise, let's see how we compare to who is some of the big boys. Palace have just come down. How much have they got? They've got 1 million. So we've got, 5 times as much as them. So we're looking like we're quite rich already. Derby, how much have they got? They 3 million. I think they go on to win. I think they win the league or get promoted certainly this year. I think in real life. Who else were quite big back in those days? Sunderland, I think, were on the verge of getting promoted with Peter Reid. 500,000 to play with. Wow. Okay. Watford, 200k. Wow. Graham Taylor's obviously back there as well now. David Holdsworth. Who else is here? Kerry Dixon. Kevin Phillips, the young Kevin Phillips is there at Watford. Craig Ramage, Darren Baisley, Tommy Mooney. I mean, some of these names, like I mentioned it the last time I recorded it, which obviously you won't know about, but some of these names, the memories they just fling back at you. You just remember them playing for different places, or remember playing in this game. Andy Hessenthaler, Gillingham, I think, after this maybe. I think he managed Gillingham for a while as well. So yeah, that's who we're up against this season. So that's the main sort of screen we're going to look at. Well, this is going to be very much an intro to the series, what we're planning to do, any suggestions for what we might want to do. I'm probably going to have to record a little bit, maybe not tonight, but look at some different things going forward. So we're not going to look at the divisions. Actually there was one thing I wanted to do, which I did do in the last game, because I looked at, who did I look at? Neil Lennon, thinking he was going to be at Crewe, but he was at Leicester already. So I'm sure in the next game, next year's game, he's still at Crewe. So maybe I'm playing for a bit of an update here. I'm not too sure. But Danny Murphy, he's listed. Is he? He was phenomenal. So what we are do, we're going to stick a quick bid in for him. He's on the shortlist, which we'll go through and see that in a minute. But he is incredible and young as well, so he's very good. Coca-Cola Cup, who's the League Cup now. Obviously, these were Division Cup, Premier League, Division 1, 2 and 3. I can't remember who sponsored those divisions after Ensley. If you know, drop it down in the comments as well. I can't remember. Coca-Cola Cup became the Worthington Cup, among other things, many times since. But the league, I can't remember who took over the league. Was it Autoglass, maybe? I'm not too sure. I can't remember. That might have been a bit later, as I'm about to sneeze. Sorry, I have got this cold, like I mentioned. Now, the cut should have worked for that. Should have been okay. So the Anglo-Italian Cup we are going to look at. So we're going to look at the group table. So Birmingham, Derby, Norwich and Sheffield United. Cesena, Genoa, Lucchese and Reggiana, they're all different as well. Huddersfield, Portsmouth, Tranmere and ourselves. So I don't know how teams get picked for this. I can't remember what got them into it. I don't know if it was just a random draw, you had to apply for it or something, I don't know. Then we've got Ancona, Brescia, Chievo, Cosenza. I mean, maybe some of the teams are, I think some of those are different in the league as well, but we've been in it both times. Wolves, both playthroughs I've set up, but been in it both times, so a bit strange. Not too sure. So we've looked at competition, we've looked at squad. As obviously we can go through and see some other stuff. Manager, there's not really too much to look at here at the moment. We're not the worst managers in the world, which we were last time. I don't know why. Howard Kendall's below us. I mean, he's won leagues and stuff with Everton, I'm pretty sure. Colin Todd. Bizarre. But none of these here are going to have stuff on them, so there's no point looking at them. Player search is what you expect. So foreign transfers, they're just players that have been released on a free. Transfers this season, nothing we need to worry about. Latest transfers, again, nothing we need to worry about. Shortlist, obviously we've just got Danny Murphy. You can have a maximum of 15 on here at any given time, so you do have to manage that quite tightly. And then player search is what it is. So you can search by whether they're transfer listed for loan, free or out of contract. Positions, whether they're left, right or centre. Age, value, where they're based. You can get scout recommendations. Not the best really, because it doesn't tell you whether the players are interested in you. The only way you can check is interested foreign based. If they're interested in foreign based, then you can check it. You can filter out players who aren't available at the moment. You can have a few other things about injuries, just different sorting. You can search for a player specifically. So if we wanted to look for, like I said, Neil Lennon, he is probably going to rock up at Leicester. He is indeed. So he's already moved. Attacking midfielder centre, obviously he wasn't back then. If we go to interested foreign based, I'm going to show you cheat tip number 2. So someone who's interested who can get it to work with. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here because I'm not actually going to do it. I'm just going to show you an example. So Victor Nilenko, absolutely legendary player of this game and the next one, just bangs in goals for fun. So what you need to do, obviously we've only got 5 million, but we're just going to put in a bid for whatever money gets it accepted. 5 million works in this case. If it had to be 7, fine, doesn't matter. So what you need to do then, obviously we've offered 5. If we go less, they can consider it, they can refuse it. It is. If it's accepted, if he wants to come, he'll go to a contract talk. If you agree a contract, he'll sign for you and he'll sign for 5 million. But what we want to do is, if you go back into adjust it, get it back down and just work it all the way back down to 0. You've got exchange at top left, so if they're interested in any of your players, you can exchange. I don't think I've really ever seen that work. Right, so you got it down to 3. So what we do now, you don't make offer, because if you make offer, it'll make it as a free offer and they'll refuse it because it's too low. But if you cancel, that offer still stands, but it logs it somehow of being a free transfer. So you want to play as a sugar daddy, you've got a sugar daddy chairman to a degree, that's how you can do it. So you can get all these players who are interested, and as long as you've got the money for the wages and you're not going to bankrupt yourself, you can just keep signing them and they won't cost you a penny. Now obviously we're not going to do that. Unless you want me to do it, let me know in the comments. I've taken him off the shortlist, but I mean, he might remain on it, but he's quite pricey. He'd be most of our budget, so maybe not, unless we do that as a on a few players to get them in, just to give ourselves a fighting chance to get straight into the Premier League. But let me know in the comments what you want me to do. I might get a chance to sort of read the comments before I record the next one. Like I say, this isn't going to be a completely... I'm not sure on the regularity of this save, as obviously as FN19 comes out, that's going to be very demanding of my time. I wanted to maybe try and work around that a little bit and just see how we go. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a full-on save. I'm obviously not going to get all 30 seasons done before FM19 comes out. That could be like 4 days away, 5 days away or something. So we're not going to worry too much about that. But it's going to be there, and it will keep coming out as long as there's interest in it, and as long as I'm enjoying it. Which these games, I go back to them all the time. I do enjoy them. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Whether it's going to be a bit of a grind about the transfers, the free transfers, who knows? But that's player search essentially for that. Board confidence probably isn't going to work. It's very hard to get it to click and stay still, so I'm never ever going to see that probably. And save it is what it says. Sound effects are on apparently. No, they're not. They're off, but we're not going to bother turning them on. They can be very, very loud. So we've done that. What did we need to do next? Oh, I was going to have a quick look at some of the international teams. What I said, just in case you want. So if you want to do England, it's Terry Venables. You saw me do that. If it's Ireland you want to manage, it's Jack Charlton, Big Jack. If you want to go to Northern Ireland, it is Brian Hamilton. Okay, I do remember him now. Now I've seen the name. Not that you'd want to be necessarily want to be Northern Ireland. They are not the best. If you want to be, who else are we missing? Scotland is. I'm pretty sure it's Craig Brown. Although you can't be Scotland in this one because we haven't got the Scottish League. We're on the English League, not the Scottish League. So you'd have to play the Scottish Leagues to do that. And Wales would be, I'm pretty sure it's Bobby Gould. Bobby Gould, yeah. Before they had the Millennium Stadium as well, it was back in the National Stadium, which I think was in Cardiff. I might be very wrong with that, but we've got John Artson's here at Arsenal already. Ryan Giggs. I mean, Wales have a few good players to work with. Neville Southall in goal. They do have some deep. Gary Speed, again, someone taken far too early. Nathan Blake's in there. A lot of strikers in this team. Sean McCarthy, I think, does quite well normally. Well, he did on one of the versions. I had him going legendary at one point. Young striker at Liverpool. Thought he was younger than that. Pretty sure he was. Gareth Taylor even. I mean, Dean Saunders. Galatasaray, I forgot about that. Mark Hughes is at Chelsea. Just left after joining from United. Chris Coleman, Cookie Coleman. Andy Dibble. Martin Margaretson even. Yes, that's how you do that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to quickly whack a few players on the shortlist who we're looking to sign. What I'll do, I'll come back and I'll show you those players, and then I'll probably... like I mentioned, I think I mentioned on this version, I'm going to try and maybe some of these players who are young and aren't very good, free them transfer, because they getting them out of their contracts cost you no money at all. We'll try and transfer list some of them, try and get some money in and see who we can bring in. So what I'll do, I will try and do that, maybe set up a tactic I want to go with. I've got an idea, there's a few I used to use, so we'll show you that maybe as well. And I won't touch the England team yet, we'll do that when we play an England game. And yeah, so I'll set the shortlist up, show you who we're going to be looking to target, and then I guess we'll end the episode and we'll come back next time. You'll see who I brought in. Maybe I've played a few games in the meantime, see how we've done, and then we'll go on to the first commentary. So yeah, bear with me 1 second. So we are back, and it was 16 players you can have on your shortlist, not 15. I was one off. I've maxed out my shortlist, and still got a few more to look at, and I've put a few bids in that are people that are off the shortlist a little bit as well. So let's have a look. So this is where we've gone with Ivica Mornar, striker, but unless we use that Sugar Daddy cheat, we're not going to be getting him because he's 3.8, plus he'll cost a bit more. We've got Numa from PSG. Don't remember, did I use him? I vaguely remember using him once and he was absolutely godlike, but I don't remember him as a player at all. Adrian Illy, I think I used to buy him a lot in the next game when it should have been this one, and he never did the job. I think it was this one he was really good on. We've got Rakunika, attacking midfielder, a creation from Hajduk Split. Again, he's going to cost a large chunk of money. A lot of these are going to cost a large chunk. We've got Gilka, defensive midfielder. We don't really need a defensive midfielder at the moment, and we've probably got He's probably more well-rounded than some of them, but we've got more tackling ones in there at the moment for the money he would cost as well. Robert Taylor, if you did watch my Championship Manager years with Forest, he was someone we reinforced with in the second half of the season. Perhaps he did come in and score some big goals. We'd probably have to have him as a main striker, and he's a lot of money at the moment, but he could be someone we look at. Done well last year, but before that not amazingly, but we might look at him. I don't know yet. We've got Garcia Aspe. Obviously, when you look at my tactics, you'll be like, why is he on there? He's just phenomenal. I might have to actually change my tactics to get this guy in, because he is just incredible. So, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. I've set up a tactic that I think I'm going to go with, but that's still liable to change if it's not working too well, of course. Tony Vaughan, young centre back at Ipswich. I think they want a lot of money for him. I think I have to put, okay, I can't do it at the moment, but I think we have to put a good bit of money in for him. Nick Forster, another Brentford striker. His positioning worries me a little bit. He's very pacey. Determination's a bit low as well. Good shooting, but he's kind of got the same amount of goals in a lot less games than Taylor. So have to see. I've got Peter Garland on the shortlist. He's still at Charlton on this one. On the next game, he's at Leyton Orient. I don't ever sign him. I'm probably not going to sign him. It's just a very, well, not on my side, but on my wife's side. My wife's related to him, so I always have a look at him, see how he's getting on. Very, I might show him this. 10 pace, good set pieces. I mean, I've seen him take a few free kicks and stuff and online and that. Injury proneness, yeah, probably about right. I know him now, so I didn't know him when he played for Tottenham, played for Newcastle. Yeah, he started at Tottenham, went up to Newcastle, played with Gaza in Newcastle, I do seem to recall. He's got a few stories about a few of those. He still knocks about with Bulldog Bullard now, so just waiting for a big family party to get along and see all those. There's a few other faces on there I recognise on some of his photos and stuff on Facebook, but I can't picture that. Can't put names to the faces on some of them. But yeah, he's larger than life character. He's a good lad. Richard Edgehill, fullback at Man City, can play left or right. They want a lot of money for him. I've identified some weaknesses in the team as well, which we'll go through shortly. We've already put a bid in for Peter Smith. He can play right back. It's probably what I'm looking at. We do have a bit of a weakness there. Danny Murphy, obviously we went for earlier. Do have a bit of a weakness in attacking midfield. We could probably do have a better option there. Jason Peake. We do have a bit of a gap in midfield as well, so I can't put a bid on him just yet, but I probably will smack a bid on for him as well. Robert Dewhurst, young centre-back. Again, not the quickest, but I think he's got a lot of other stuff there we can work with. And I think there's enough there for me to go, yeah, we'll go for him. Plus, we've got to be a little bit careful on the money. We can't go smashing out big amounts of money. We can only get maybe one marquee signing this year. We're looking at maybe sort of 2-3 million max, leaving us a couple million to bolster the rest of the squad. I think we do get a little bit more money after the first press of the continue as well. And then we've got Phil Shaw at the bottom, young goalkeeper, but I don't think we really need a goalkeeper. But 16 years old, he's got a lot of stuff there to keep a look on. So we might try and just get him in and maybe get one of the older guys out. So like I say, we've only got the 2 bids there. We've got 5 in total, which you can only do 5 maximum at one time. We have got a few others. I can't remember who they are off the top of my head. They went off my list I've written down. So without that, we'll have a look at the tactics then, and I think we'll end end the episode here. So tactic wise, we've gone with a 4-1-2-1-2. We do probably need another striker, an out and out striker. We've got Steve Ball obviously, but we've only got Don Goodman, but he's more of a forward. If we go with wingers, we've got Tony Daly on the left, we've got Rank on the right. At the moment they're not being utilised. This guy we put on the transfer list, hopefully it says if I'm 30k, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 250 that should be. Don't know why it's saying 130k. We've put a few others on the list, and we freed a few youngsters as well. I don't know if it shows them. Yeah, James Kelly and Steve Karika. Karika, his stats on this version, like I said, the last one is much better. He's Jeff Thomas is listed. We might lose one of these centre attacking defensive midfielders if we can. I would free this guy, but he's got a cap for Wales. He's only got 2 pace, but we're not going to sell him anyway. 6 months with a slip disc, and he's probably going to cost us quite a lot to free. If I need to, the option's there. I might free him. If we get the other young goalie in, I might. He's quite good. I might get rid of this guy, but he's quite good as well. Not too sure yet. We've got. Might try and get rid of him as well, but he's got quite good determination. Tackling's quite high. Marking is a bit low. Heading good high. Positioning 14. So maybe we keep him around. Maybe. Yonder Wolf is out for a few weeks, and he'll be back soon. So yeah, we've gone for the 4-1-2-1-2. So we've got gaps very definitely in centre midfield. We've got Jermaine Wright in there at the moment, who's very young. Potentially will be good. good determination, good marking, all that sort of stuff, but not quite there yet, I wouldn't say. We need another striker, another midfielder. Could possibly do with another defensive midfielder as well, and then just a bit of boosted out around the squad, so some sort of fringe players around the squad perhaps. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to carry on a little bit here, but I'm going to end the episode 1, or episode 0 I guess if you like here, but no, we're episode 1 here. Like I said, it was always the aim just to do it as the squad we're picking, the idea of the save, the series, that sort of thing, and where we're going. So I think we've covered that. We've covered the first bit, the bit of transfers and stuff. So when you come back next time, there's no transfer window. It doesn't close in September, so we can keep making transfers for as long as we can, as long as we've got money, and as long as we've got players interested in space. Maximum squad of 30 players. Of course, there's no youth team or reserve team you can stick them into. It's literally just your 30 spots. So we'll be back. We'll try and get a bit of wheeling dealing, get a few players out, get a few players in, bolster what we can do, see how the tactic goes. If we need to tweak it, we can. We've got the wingers there if we need to use wingers. Yeah, so that covers that really. We're covering a few bases, we just need a bit of depth. So until episode 2, which again I don't really know when that's going to be. I don't know when this episode is even dropping, so I'm not too sure. If you like the episode, if you like the idea of the save, please do drop a like, any comments, feedback, subway there as well, just to keep it on top of this content, FM19 when it's coming out. That would be much appreciated. I did drop the FM19 plans video out. That's out on my channel at the moment, so please take a look at that as well if that's of interest to you as well. You can see what I'm planning for my main save and my beta save this year, essentially, which will probably be in a few days. I don't know how long it will take me to record those first few episodes and get them out. I don't know. If it comes out on the Friday, I'll probably be looking at the Monday as my first episode. I'm not too sure. So I probably am going to be a little bit behind the curve on that as well. But yeah, until next time for this next episode of my Wolves save and the England save, which could be the next game actually if we get that far with transfers, it takes us that far, then I'll see you next time. Take care.